MMF is not an investment. Is it true or false? Some of you guys are getting into my DMs asking me, hey Joseph, is money market fund an investment, yet you've been telling us to invest in that and something like that? Okay, I'm gonna try the best as I can to be fair answering this question. Are we together? You guys have been asking me on the same, and let's get on the business. By the way, don't forget, this is Good Joseph. I try the best as I can to share information with you that can help you or all of us as far as the investments are concerned. And this is a channel that you need to be. Just go ahead and hit that subscription button, write a comment on the comment section, and make sure that you go ahead and do what? Like the video. Now, let's get on the business now. Let's first of all start by simple definition. What is an investment? Because we cannot argue over something that we have not yet defined. What is an investment? And that is exactly what I'm saying. By the way, grab yourself a phone, go to Google and write, what is an investment? Are we together? So that we can get the correct definition. An investment is the allocation of money or capital with expectation of generating future income or appreciation in value. So you allocate a specific amount of money, you set it aside to a vehicle that is earning you something on top of what you had put. If you put, say, 100K, even if it makes you 1 shilling, that means it's an investment because it is increasing. But we have to bring in the factor of inflation. Inflation is, how can I define this in a simplest language? In a layman's language, not with big economical terms. Inflation is simply your money is losing the purchasing power. Are we together? So let's say you're getting an interest of 4% and the inflation is 5%. Then that what you are in, it's not an investment. Because if you are getting 4% out of your money, yet your money is losing 5% in terms of its purchasing power, then you're doing nothing. But then if you're getting an inflation of 4% and you are making 5%, truly speaking, you are getting 1%, you are placed above the inflation. But should we be in a game of chasing anything that is above inflation? No, we shouldn't. We should actually be making or try to make more than what is placing us just slightly above the inflation. And of course, there are other investments. So let's start asking ourselves some questions here for us to have a decent conversation. Number one, is money market fund an investment? Yes, it is, as far as the inflation is below. For example, right now, the inflation in Kenya, I'm making this video in June, based on what I've gotten from the Central Bank of Kenya, is around 3.8%. Right now, the least money market fund is giving you, which is like, I think ZID, is giving you around 7.01%. That is already above the inflation. Of course, it's an investment. Hang on. Number two, so is a money market fund, is it an investment in that particular manner? Yes, it is. Is money market fund the only investment? No, it is not. Is money market fund, of course, makes your money grow? Yes, it does. Now, the question is this: is it the only investment that everyone should have? No, of course. There are many other investments. Now, is money market fund the ultimate investment as far as the interest and returns is concerned? No, it is not. There are other investments that we tend to have or fetch higher returns. And this is what happens. Just like a kid grows from different level to the other, where we usually have this kind of an arrangement. I hope I'm going to make sense on this. We usually have, levels of investments. And back then, during the eras of our parents and something, the only time you tell somebody to invest, they only thought about, first of all, we start by what we call table banking. Table banking. This is where the people used to have an organization where they come together, and then once they come together, oh my goodness, where did this guy come from? Now, they come together, and once they come together, they actually, conjoin that money and then be able to do something. That's what the entry level. Then here comes something else called the circles. Are we together? Circles was like that initial, that kind of, entry-level investment. You tell somebody to start investing, they think of a circle. Now, we have something now called money market fund. Are we together? It is still one of the entry levels as far as the money, the investments are concerned. After now you shift from these MMFs and what have you, you can now go to things like stocks or shares or something like that, whatever you call it. Then you can go to the higher level whereby now you can get something like treasury bills, treasury bonds. And now we have other investments such as index fund. Are we together? Now, we also have another new investment that are taking all over the place called now the special fund. Special funds such as Mansa X. Are we together? We have something like Oak Fund and many others that are fetching you above 20% in terms of returns. Probably this one will give you, give or take, around 13%, 14, depends with the circle. Are we together? This one, probably you're not getting anything. Are we together? Because you're not investing your money, so your money is being eaten away by inflation. So money market fund right now gives you, let's say, from the lowest of 7% to the highest of 13% as of June 2025. There was a time it was even going to 16%. Now, when we say MMF is not an investment, sure, we are not being fair to the reality. It is an investment, but it's not the ultimate investment. And this money market fund may make sense to a lot of people who are building themselves. For example, let's say you have somebody here who can only afford, let's say, to get 300 Kenyan shilling each and every day. This guy may not afford to invest in a Mansa X because you need a minimum of 250K. Are we together? This guy may not afford, as of now, may not afford to invest in something like an Oak Fund. This guy, sure, may afford to get into stocks because stocks don't require a huge chunk of cash. This guy may not afford to get into the treasury bonds. So the money market fund is an entry level. It's a how can I say this? It's an accumulation basket that you can use to pile up your cash. You fatten the cow. Then once you reach a substantive amount of money, then you can be able to negotiate. It's the only way you usually go to a bank. We have two types of fixed deposit. We have the normal fixed deposit that anyone is given, and we usually have the negotiated fixed deposit one. And you can only negotiate once you reach a certain amount of money, say 5, 10, 15, 20 million. And of course, the more money you have, the bigger the interest that you can have. Now, what happens is this. If we can say then money market fund is not an investment, then we're actually killing this dream of this individual. But if you say this money market fund, it is not an ultimate investment to someone who can afford a bill, to someone who can afford an index fund, to someone who can afford an ETF, to someone who can afford a special fund, true, that makes sense. But what I can say is this. We should thank God that at least Kenyans are waking up. They realize it's far much better having money in a money market fund compared even having that money lying idle in a bank account. So once they get here, they familiarize themselves with this one. As you invest on this, you figure out the next one, we figure out the next one, and you move to the next level. For example, when you contact me, first of all, I don't just suggest go with MMF. No, first of all, I listen to you. I get to understand where you are financially. What is your financial power? What is your financial muscle? Then with that regard, I will tell you, we can distribute this money. We can have some chunk into MMF. We can have some chunk into treasury bills or treasury bonds. We can have some index internationally, like S&P 500. We can have national ETF like NASI 200 and a C25 and a C20, what have you, gold ETF offered by the ABSA. We have a variety of areas we can invest. We also check out on, hey, would you go for the special funds? I explain to you what are special funds and something like that. So what happens is that these are different vehicles that are on different levels that requires different amount of money for you to invest. And then of course, to answer the question, is a money market fund an investment? Ultimately, yes, it is a money market fund. But there are some of the things that MMF may not fulfill. Are we together? And there are some of the things that the stocks may not fulfill. There are some of the investments that special funds may not fulfill. We don't have that ultimate investment that we can say, hey, if you get this, then it fulfills all the baskets. For example, someone can approach you and ask you, hey, Joseph, I have some cash. I would like to invest somewhere where in future I want to get a loan. MMF may not work for that guy. Circles can work with that guy because they are known to give affordable loans or something like that. Somebody may tell you, hey, Joseph, I have some cash here. I would like to invest and I'm looking forward the returns of that cash. I would like to be paying rent with it. Personally, I pay my rent with a money market fund. The cash, I throw it here. The returns that I get is the one that I use to pay for my rent. You may have somebody else may tell you, hey, you know what, Joseph, I'm a young guy. I would like to enroll in an investment that ultimately in future I'll be eating the returns out of it. Then that's a way of checking, hey, let's check on the what? On the stocks. Let's check on the what? The index fund. So money market fund is a very decent return or rather investment that actually gives you what we call compound interest. And I know they may have some shortcoming, which is if you do not have the discipline of making sure that you don't withdraw money from a money market fund, should we bash the money market fund or should we bash you? Who is the problem? The problem here is the monkey. It's not the forest. Even if you change the forest, the monkey will still have the same problem. I usually have some clients who invest in a stock. Then the next minute they're asking me, how do I sell? How do I get out? Just because they show or they saw a red thing within like 2 or 3 days. So what happens is this: it's all investments at different levels. So money market fund, first of all, most Kenyans, I know their psychology. Most Kenyans don't want to fix their money for a long period of time. And that's why they gravitate a lot towards money market fund. So most Kenyans would like to get that return that they are getting. I would wish you know what kind of text and calls that I usually receive from guys. It's hey, how can I invest my money but still access it? And how can I multiply my money from 20,000 and make I mean, sometimes people are unrealistic. They don't know exactly how these investments works and what have you. But I'm glad that we are having this discussion, because at least now we are helping our Kenyans. We are making sure that we are growing each other, and we are learning each and every day, and we are ultimately not only helping Kenyans but also we are helping ourselves, because now I'm glad we are on this table arguing whether it's a money market fund is an investment, because it's becoming more beneficial to Kenyans and they are able to learn something called the financial literacy or something like that. So anyway, the point is this: is money market fund an investment? Absolutely, and a beautiful one. Is it the ultimate investment? No, of course, we have other investment that you can be able to. Even things like equity funds. We have a very beautiful investment called equity fund. We have bond fund. We have balance fund. We have a lot of other areas that you can be able to explore and such kind of things. But remember one thing: when you're handling clients, you make sure that you handle everyone. Who does not have that big money? Who has that big money? Who is starting? Who is finishing? Who is exiting? Who is entering? And all those kind of things. So that at least everyone will benefit out of the videos that we make. Well, is Good Joseph an ultimate or monopoly of all the ideas? Absolutely not. But I try the best as I can, and at all time I tell you guys, let us teach each other on the comment section. Tell me what you think, and I tell you what I think, and then we find a neutral place whereby we can be beneficial to anyone and everyone. Guys told me to make a video about this. Is money market fund not an investment? Well, of course, it is a very beautiful. And by the way, how many here are getting something out of money market fund? And if you still don't know which MMF to join, come on, Etika Money Market Fund. Go on the comment section. There is a link that I've pinned there. If you don't know how to join, just click that link. It take you directly to opening. It's very simple. Instead of going the hustles and bustles, you can get that link and you can be able to join Etika Money Market Fund or any other MMF. I'm not paid to say that. Some people say, oh, you're saying that because you are paid. No, or any other MMF that you're comfortable with it. But at least be doing something so that we move to the next level. This is Good Joseph, and see you in the next one. And by the way, if you need my services in one way or the other, that's my number. Pick it up there. Shoot me a call or text on my WhatsApp. We talk business. See you there.